What if I told you the pension tax you're paying right now, yeah, it's not going anywhere, and Keir Starmer has just made sure of it. For thousands of pensioners across the country, this decision could mean handing over more of your retirement income than you ever expected. And the worst part? A lot of people don't even realise how this is going to hit them until it already has. So why, in the middle of a cost of living crisis, when people are struggling with bills, food, heating, why has Starmer chosen to leave pension tax rules untouched? And more importantly, is there anything you can actually do to stop the taxman from taking a bigger chunk of your savings? Stick with me, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly how this affects your weekly income and one simple move you can make today to protect what you've worked so hard for. Let's get into it. Now, if you're living on a pension, every pound matters. That's what makes this such a big deal. Starmer has decided not to make a single change to the current pension tax rules. And that might sound like no big deal at first, because nothing's changing, right? But that's exactly the issue. By doing nothing, he's keeping the same frozen tax bands, the same outdated thresholds. Meanwhile, the cost of living is going up. And your pension income? That might be creeping up too, thanks to inflation adjustments, the triple lock, or just small increases. But here's the catch. Because the thresholds haven't moved, more of your income could quietly slip into taxable territory. That means you end up handing over more to HMRC without even noticing it.
Let me put it like this. Imagine trying to run a race, but someone's tied your shoelaces together. You can still run, but every step feels harder than it should. That's what this pension tax system feels like right now.
You're trying to move forward, but something's holding you back. And here's where it gets even more worrying. A lot of pensioners, especially those who receive a private pension on top of the state pension, are crossing tax thresholds without even realising. They think they're just accessing money they've saved for years. Maybe they take out a bit extra to go on holiday or help their kids with a deposit or cover rising bills. Fair enough, right? But HMRC doesn't see it that way. That little bit extra might be just enough to push them into a higher tax band. And they don't notice until they get a letter they weren't expecting, or a payment that's suddenly smaller than usual. Now, here's the real kicker. Starmer's decision not to adjust these rules means this isn't going to change anytime soon. In fact, some financial experts say more pensioners than ever are going to get caught out this year. And the worst part? Many won't understand why they're suddenly losing more of their pension until it's already happening, month after month. It doesn't feel fair, does it? You've worked your whole life, you've saved, you've contributed, and now, when it's finally your time to enjoy what you earned, you're being penalised. But let's take a step back. Is there anything you can actually do about it? The answer? Yes. But it's not quite as straightforward as we might like. Still, there are things you need to know. Things that could be the difference between losing hundreds to unnecessary tax or keeping more of your hard-earned money. And I'm going to get to that very shortly. But first, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a couple in their late 60s living in a modest semi-detached house in Manchester, both retired. They've got their state pensions, and the husband has a small private pension too. Nothing fancy, just enough to help with rising grocery prices and heating bills. One winter, their boiler gives out. They need a new one. So they take out an extra £3,000 from their private pension. Simple, right? Except that one decision, completely reasonable, nudged their income just over the tax threshold. And suddenly, they're paying hundreds more in tax than they were the year before. Now multiply that story by thousands. All across the UK, this is happening right now. People making small, sensible decisions, only to be hit with tax bills they weren't prepared for. That's why Starmer's refusal to update the system feels like such a blow. It's not about politics. It's about real people trying to make ends meet in retirement, being squeezed by a system that doesn't budge. But don't lose hope, because here's the shift from frustration to action. Just because the government hasn't changed the rules doesn't mean you're powerless. There are smart ways to manage how and when you access your pension. There are allowances you might not even realise you're entitled to. And there are completely legal, totally above-board ways to make sure you're not handing over more than you have to. I want you to know those options exist, and we're getting to that. Because I don't want you to walk away from this feeling worried. I want you to feel prepared. Let's also acknowledge something else. This isn't just about numbers. For a lot of people watching right now, this is about security, about peace of mind. When you're retired, the last thing you want is to lie awake at night, wondering if your pension will stretch far enough. You shouldn't be punished for saving for your future. And it's not just about you, is it? A lot of pensioners are helping their families. Your kids might be struggling with mortgage payments. Maybe you're helping with your grandkids' school costs. Maybe you just want to leave something behind. Every pound you lose unnecessarily to tax is £1 you can't use for that.
Now, maybe you're thinking there's nothing I can do, that's just the way it is, but that's exactly what we want to challenge. Because once you understand the rules, you can start making choices that work in your favour, not against you. So here's a little teaser for you. There is one specific move, a very simple one, that could save you from tipping into a higher tax band. And most pensioners, they don't even consider it.
I'm going to share that with you right now. One of the biggest mistakes pensioners make is taking out big lump sums all at once, especially toward the end of a tax year. What many don't realise is that if you simply spread that withdrawal across 2 tax years, you might avoid jumping into a higher bracket. Doesn't sound too exciting, I know, but if it could save you hundreds or thousands, suddenly it's a very exciting idea, isn't it? And here's another thing to look at. Are you claiming every allowance you're eligible for? Do you qualify for pension credit? Are you eligible for the marriage allowance? Have you looked into council tax reductions? These things add up. And just because Starmer hasn't cut your taxes doesn't mean you can't still protect what's yours. If you're not sure where to start, talk to a financial advisor, or even just visit the government's own website. Sometimes a 5-minute check can reveal options you didn't even know existed. Now, here's the reward I promised you. The government might not be on your side, but knowledge is. Once you understand how these tax rules work, you can use them to your advantage. You've earned this money. You worked for it. You deserve to enjoy it, not to sit there worrying about how much the taxman is going to take next month. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just accept this. Take a closer look at your pension situation today. Make one small change, just one. Then look at the difference it makes over the next 12 months. You might be shocked at how much more you get to keep. And if you've watched all the way to this point, you now know something most pensioners don't. You're already one step ahead. That's why this conversation matters. So if you care about keeping more of your pension and making every pound count, keep paying attention. Because we'll keep bringing you updates that really do make a difference. But for now, just remember this. The power to protect your retirement is in your hands.